Hi friends, today we are privileged to have Mr. Takashi Suzuki from JETRO, and we are keen to have a brilliant conversation with him and learn insights ahead. Thank you. So thank you, Mr. Takashi.
Thank you.
It's a brilliant, wonderful feeling to have you at the set today. So we are all keen to learn about the first very question from us about what is JETRO and what are the key objectives in India for JETRO to achieve.
Yeah, JETRO stands for Japan External Trade Organization. Actually, we are the kind of a Japanese government organization under Japanese Ministry of Economy, Trade and Industry. And our duty is to promote the Japanese global business. And my office is in Bangalore, and my biggest duty is matchmaking between Bangalore company, Bangalore startups, and those Japanese companies who are keen about their business in India.
Sure, wonderful. So we just want to understand this from you, that Japanese startups, when they see India and they're interested to set up the India place as their business units, so what makes that interest develop in them? Why they want to come to India, and what are the goals they want to achieve here? So,
of course, we know India is one of the biggest ecosystem for the startups. But even in Japan, there are now many of the Japanese startups are being active, and most of them are thinking about their globalization of the business. And most of the business we see India is a huge market and it's huge opportunity. Of course, this is the biggest reason for them to try such a big market. And another thing is that you can imagine those startup people, they are really keen about tackling the social issues. And you may know in Japan it's a super aging society. We are the kind of one of the most advanced the social program country in the world now. And maybe those Japanese startups thinking their business model or their idea will be the future business model in India. This is, I think, another concern.
Wonderful. So while the Japanese companies are coming to India and they scout for good talent, they would need good talent. So is there any talent strategy that they have in their mind? They would like to get people from certain areas, some colleges, some companies. Just give us a little idea about that also.
Okay. As I mentioned, Japan is facing the super aging society. And anyway, we are already facing the huge shortage of the working people, working generation. And if we take an example, the IT engineers, maybe up to 2030, there will be IT engineers shortage will happen in Japan, the size of more than 5 lakh IT engineers. So now, not only IT engineers, the Japanese government and Japanese community, Japanese people are seeking how they can, invite those
engineers
human resources from other countries. And of course, India is one of the biggest population country, and its advantage is the ITs. Why we not invite the Indian IT engineers to Japan? This is a very basic situation.
I think you're right, because if you see, Takashi, in all our companies we see in India, the college graduate are working with at least 5 to 7 companies in the tenure of 20 years. So their experience on multiple platforms and technologies is really much more higher. Like you have an engineer work with SAP, then on time he's worked with Oracle and different large companies. So that's a very valid point why the Japanese ecosystem wants the engineers from India to set up there. So we want to also understand that which are the technologies that you have seen that are being more in touch, because in one of the interviews I heard that there are 5,000 offices and manufacturing units in India itself from Japan. So do you see a mix of more mechanical engineering. Give us a little idea about which type of skills do you see are more in. Yeah.
It's a kind of unique situation. The Japanese companies in India, we can count 1,400 companies. If we count each of their factories and offices, it's more than 5,500.
Sure.
But maybe you can imagine, you know, some of the Japanese companies, the famous ones, Maruti Suzuki, Toyota, Nissan, Honda, they are all the car makers, the automotive industry. They are the majority of Japanese business in India. And yeah, we can say they are really successfully done in Indian market.
Right.
But recent global situation is that the innovation, this thing is really happening, and everybody think about the collaboration with the startups or their open innovation, how they can diversify their business.
Sure.
Even the big company like Toyota, they are saying Toyota is no more car maker.
Yeah.
They would like to be the mobility company.
Yeah.
The meaning there's no border between manufacturing and service industry or digital things. And the Japanese manufacturers, especially, they have to diversify themselves.
Wonderful.
They have to, be involved in more the service business, so they have to take in the more digital things. And when we see the world, where will be the most potential partner to those Japanese manufacturers? It must be India. India has very big advantage for this IT ability. They have the talent, they have the big company, and tech startups are here.
So when you see, let's ask a reverse question now. When you see the Indian companies who want to venture into Japan market, so which type of companies are really interested to go and to give us a little bit perspective around it?
Now we try to promote the mutual exchange of the business. A Japanese company who likes to do something in India, we will support. On the other hand, any Indian company who likes to do something with Japan, we are in position to support it. And one of the most interesting sector we see is the healthcare. Because the healthcare, the business, looks like there are the common situation we can share between the country India and Japan. For example, we are also facing the shortage of the pathologists. And as I mentioned, we are facing the super aging society. If we go to the rural area in Japan, there are only the old, aged people living in a very isolated village. In this case, maybe telemedicine will be one of the solution for the situation. On the other hand, the same kind of the technology, some Indian startups are working for such technology and services. Why not collaborating with those Indian startups? This is one of the examples. We have some common challenges we can tackle together.
I think clean tech energy also is quite coming up well. In one of your presentations, I saw a lot of companies talking about the water saving technologies, can save the clean tech, the energy space. So is it something that is more to be an environmental concern that you want to help the world over to the crisis of water to be sorted out, or it's more towards the manufacturing of certain technologies that you have? So give us some perspective around why it's more clean tech, why energy is driving so much of business.
As you rightly mentioned, some specific industry from Japan, the waste management and the water solution. Those are Japanese companies really keen to do something in India. And a few of the Japanese companies are approaching to us. They would like to introduce their technology or services in India. Of course, seeing the situation in Bangalore, the waste management, somehow
it's the need of the hour.
With a space to do something. And there must be the business chance. And another thing, the water. I'm afraid that the water supply in India very near future it will be a kind of
Scarce resource to,
situation.
agreed, yeah.
And some of the water company
Mhm.
from Japan are keen to do something in
Sure.
India.
Well, that's great to hear, Mr. Takashi. Yeah. So we spoke about the organizations who want to work, the talents piece we spoke about. We are a little keen to learn about the synergies between both the nations. When you see the Japanese government hearing all the experiences, this entire process of the ecosystem moving into India versus the Indian companies want to move in. So what is their reaction of both the governments? I mean, Japanese and Indian. So any interactions, any experiences with that? People just share that with us also.
Okay, yeah. As you know, almost every year our Prime Minister visit India and vice versa, your Prime Minister visit Japan. Politically, our relationship is very strong and it will be more strengthened. And I never forget the comments by Prime Minister Modi. He said that India's software collaborate with the Japan's hardware will makes wonderful things.
Yeah.
And I believe this words represent every the aspect between two countries.
Sure.
And what we would like to try is we have the advantage in the manufacturing sector. You have the software application advantage. Why not do something together?
Wonderful. Yeah.
On the other hand, it used to be that many of the Japanese companies only see the market possibility in India. Maybe they have less idea to collaborate in such a way.
Sure.
So we'd like to, as JETRO, promote such new concept, the relation with India.
Wonderful. That's good to hear, Takashi. So if I ask about the challenges that you have seen, the startups have told in the last 10 years, that if they would get such opportunity to work with certain partners in India, they would have achieved their milestones much earlier. So could you state certain challenges? When I speak challenges, I mean more on the culture and the diversity part of it. So just give us some perspective around it also.
Yeah, I mentioned that there are already many Japanese companies here in India.
Sure.
But almost 90% of them are the big companies and listed companies. I must say there are few small and medium-sized Japanese companies.
Sure.
Not like what is happening in China or ASEAN countries. One thing, our challenge is that we would like to promote more Japanese SME to come to India. They have very unique know-how and service industry, the technologies, manufacturing. They can do something more. This is one thing.
Right. Sure.
And another thing is that the culture and the more, how can I say, the language barrier.
Yeah, sure.
Of course, it is happening, but I think more people exchange will happen between two countries. So I think time will solve this situation.
Wonderful. So that's good, Takashi. I think we got a lot of learnings from you, and we hope the best for JETRO. And we wish to have much more conversations with you in the next series of our episodes. And thank you for your time today.
Thank you very much.
Pleasure.